Hello. So my name is Garrett and this is my very first YouTube video, and I have to say I've been wanting to do YouTube for so long. I mean, like, for so long, so many years, but I just haven't done it. I just haven't committed to it. And so I finally decided to create this channel as a way to express my creativity, as a way to, share things that are going on in my life, as a way to share stories. Because I've had so many radical shifts in my life this past year leading up to this that part of me wishes I would have filmed. But another part of me is super grateful that I got to experience that and just be immersed in it and not like be worried about filming it and doing that sort of thing. But I have to say that you know everything led me up to this point, and so I'm just really grateful that I am starting this YouTube channel. I mean, it's been a long time coming, guys. So this channel, the purpose of this channel is going to be to share my experiences, to share some of my stories, and I'm going to get into the story of, what led me up to this point. But I really want this channel to be a place where I connect with people who are maybe like me, who are a little bit like not well understood sometimes, or maybe you just have a different mindset than other people. And so I really want to connect with those people, but also the people who maybe want to see a different perspective and a different mindset. I want to connect with those people too. So I really want to bridge that gap. And the more you watch my channel, the more you're probably gonna understand of like what led me up to this point, and what my mission really is, and what I realized my mission is this past year. So I'm just so happy and grateful to finally be creating this. So I'm going to tell the story of kind of what led me up to this. And in future videos, I can get into more detail about some of these stories. But I'm just going to give you guys a general overview. So as I was coming to the end of this past year, it was about November, and I decided that I need to do something different in my life. And I had run a business for 3.5 years, and as that business started to make more and more money and start to plateau, I sort of just became unhappy with it. And I actually dreaded going to work in my small business. And so what that turned into was me wanting to move. And I lived in an RV with my girlfriend at the time. And I decided to move it to a new area. And so I moved near my brother in North Carolina. And, I think I got there and I was just like, this next year can't be anything like my past year. Like, I don't want it to be anything like my past year. And that's something I realized is like when we start to get in a cycle, we can either repeat that cycle or we can break the pattern. And so I was at that point where I was like, I'm gonna break the pattern. And so I actually split up with my girlfriend, which that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I decided to sell everything I owned, which was also one of the hardest things I've ever done. And in that process, I was really down and I was really depressed, and I didn't really have direction in my life. And so I met some people, and it was so interesting that when I started to kind of clear things and clear people out of my life, that so much started to come into my life that, was so good for me. It was so needed. And I hired a coach at the time back in January, and I just started to work with her and see radical changes in my life. And she really empowered me. When you're down and you have somebody that's just there for you, that really empowers you, that really makes you feel good. That's what she was for me. And so I felt really cared for and really loved. And so I decided back in January to get a one-way ticket to move to Hawaii. There was a YouTuber I watched 5 years ago, and she had moved to this farm in Hawaii, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I got a one-way ticket, set up my application for this raw vegan fruit farm, and proceeded to sell everything I owned. Sold my final things for my business, sold my RV, kind of cleared everything out of my life, reduced everything to like a couple boxes, and that was pretty much it. And so I started a business back in January, and it took off. I mean, it just took off and flew. But I wasn't really happy in it, and I wasn't really in it, and so that led me to travel. And that led me to Texas during the snowstorm of February 2020, and from there I just decided like I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna like take this opportunity to travel because the farm told me I couldn't come till April. So I was like, okay, I have like 4 months. Like, what can I do, right? And so I hit the road and ended up in Arizona, and that led to one of the most spiritual awakening, I mean, just I have no words, ineffable experiences I've ever had. Bringing me closer with nature, bringing me closer to God, bringing me closer with the people who are my tribe, who are really like there for me. And so I'm gonna have another video on that and what really happened there. But yeah, I just kind of decided to clear things out of my life, and it was like things just started to manifest and just fly into my life like so fast, like literally so many changes happened so fast that this is why I didn't really film it, because I was like so immersed in the moment that I couldn't even imagine like documenting it all and filming it. Yeah, I just have no words for that. So then the adventures that proceeded following that was moving to Hawaii and living in Hawaii for multiple months. And, at this point I've been traveling for months. And so that's why I think it's the perfect opportunity for me to start my YouTube channel. Because I feel like I have a lot to share. I have a lot to connect with people on. So I'm looking to, post that kind of thought-provoking content. And it's going to kind of be a mix-up, so stay tuned, because I love adventure. So it's going to be a kind of mix of like thought-provoking adventure content that hopefully can really reach the masses and people can really connect with this stuff. As we're going through this time of mass awakening, as we're going through this time of change in the world, I think that we really need connection more than ever in this world. So as I continue to shift my fears and just burst through them and continue to make these changes in my life, I'm really thankful that you're here, and I'm really thankful that you're supporting me and that you watched up until this point. So yeah, stay tuned.